stopping to look for the farmer she left behind. Continue driving. On a clear day, you'll start having more and more views of Snæfellsjökull ahead of us. Snæfellsjökull is the prominent ice-capped peak towards the left. We'll talk more about this volcano in just a few minutes. In the 800s, the first Norwegian settlers in Iceland gazed up at Snæfellsjökull in astonishment. Although the conditions in Iceland were often real, the settlers remained in constant awe of this new land. Dense forests, towering volcanoes, waters teeming with fish. This place had it all. Decide whether Iceland would officially become a part of Norway. From his throne in Bergen, King Haakon the Old laughed as he pitted Icelandic chieftains against one another, stoking total chaos across Iceland. This period became known as the Age of the Sturlungs. The Sturlungs were the most powerful clan in Iceland at the time. Remember the poet Snorri Sturluson, who wrote about Odin's horse? As we'll hear in just a moment, Sturluson was up there. Continue driving as you listen. Okay, so how did a poet like Snorri Sturluson get mixed up in the Icelandic Civil War? Well, let's jump back to 1179, when Sturluson was born into the mighty Sturlung clan. From childhood, Sturluson studied with Iceland's most esteemed scholars. As a young man, he became a celebrated national poet, writing long sagas detailing the history and mythology of Iceland. If you want to hear a bit of Sturluson's work, click on Learn More. But Sturluson also grew passionate about politics. In 1215, he became the legislature. In Norway, King Haakon caught wind of Sturluson's reputation and thought, this guy could be useful. King Haakon invited Sturluson to Norway, where he showered the poet with gifts. Upon his return home, Sturluson began campaigning for Iceland to join the Norwegian kingdom. This, of course, helped to kick off the violent age of the Sturlungs. Well, bad news for Snorri. He might have had a way with words, but he wasn't very good at convincing Icelanders to become Norwegians. By 1241, King Haakon had decided that Sturluson was no longer useful. One autumn night, Norwegian spies snuck into Sturluson's home and assassinated him. As they raised their knives over Sturluson, the famed poet spoke his final words. Do not strike. I guess he didn't get his final wish. In 1264, King Haakon finally succeeded in claiming Iceland as a Norwegian territory. But as we'll hear in a moment, this didn't continue straight. A century after Iceland became a Norwegian territory, Norway itself joined up with Sweden and Denmark to form the Kalmar Union. Under this agreement, Denmark ruled Iceland. Sorry, King Haakon. With the Danish in charge, business started to boom. And, you might ask, what was the business? Well, fish. After merchants began filling markets in Denmark, Norway, and England with dried fish from Iceland, the island became the hottest fishing spot around. At the end of the 1400s, however, these boom times sputtered out. In 1494, a Black Death hit Iceland for the second time in a century. During this epidemic, nearly half of Iceland's residents died. To make matters worse, the soil in Iceland suddenly became horrendous. So what caused this change in soil composition? When settlers first landed in Iceland, forests covered about a quarter of the island. As the population grew, these forests were desolate. Goes back to our old friend Leif Erikson. As more European Canada, with that, Icelandic fish didn't seem so special anymore. Continue driving. In the early 1500s, life in Iceland was grim. As the economy worsened, King Christian III of Denmark instituted the Lutheran Reformation. He declared scourge. In the late Middle Ages, this was considered a very shameful diss. By 1550, King Christian finally captured Bishop Jan during a skirmish, and the Danish king immediately sentenced Jan to death. Just minutes before Jan's execution, a Catholic priest laid a small lot. From there, you can follow a walking path for about a quarter mile to the base of the waterfall. To skip this detour, continue driving straight.
Mexico?
For the first time in human history, you could stand in this very spot and see no ice on the top of Snæfellsjökull. What's causing this glacier to shrink more and more quickly? In fact, scientists guess that the glacier on Snæfellsjökull could completely disappear as early as 2050. In addition to all these geological wonders, Snæfellsjökull might also be the portal to the center of the Earth. Hang tight, you'll hear more about this soon. Pull into the turnout coming up on our left and park for the Snæfellsjökull viewpoint.